Hey yo, G Dash, boy, take your hat off. Fine. This week on Hats Off with G Dash Jones. Hey, okay. Let's see here. Y'all know what this is? This Hats Off. G Dash Jones. Oh, we outside, y'all. We outside. This is Hats Off with G Dash Jones. If y'all don't know what y'all about to witness, okay, I want y'all to understand this episode of Hats Off. It's gonna be different, okay? It's gonna be me and the amazing Jay Street. Yes. We gonna talk about all types of things, okay? I need y'all to know I'm gonna get Jay Street up in here and we gonna have a conversation about kind of all the things that led him to be where he is now, right? We're gonna talk about everything from him being into the Yuletide cheer, right? We're gonna talk about everything from him being an activist, an advocate, an artist, um, all the things that makes him him. First and foremost, I gotta start off. I start off with some vibes. So I'm gonna start off with a little bit of music just to get the world together. Uh, I wasn't gonna do this. I wasn't sure, but I think I'm gonna start off with this right here. It's a little hard. We gonna get it in. Woo. I'm we about to let it. Woo! Hold up, I need to turn this up a little bit. Not five. If y'all don't know, this is Songbird that got it. I ain't gonna play too much, cause I don't wanna get too hyped. What? But this is it's a little hard. It's a little hard. Okay, sure. I don't wanna do too much for you. You know. This I don't want to do too much for the people, but shouts out to Songbird, the goddess flow, gonna get that album out ASAP. It's fire, okay? It's fire. Now, with that said, like I said, I always start off with some music. Now I'm gonna bring my man up, the man, and try not to be. I'm gonna try not to be too wild, cause Jay is wild, right? And I'm clearly a calm guy.
What's up,
I'm
man?
reserved. I was telling the world how I'm a reserved person, and you're so wild.
Wait.
Um,
You're not reserved. That's not even remotely accurate. Like I've seen you in public. You just start doing freestyle things right from the rip. Like if you want to run with that, that's fine, but you are far from reserved. Like the opposite. And I know.
okay. I was trying to be the. I want listen. I'll be Mr. Orwell, sir. I'm gonna be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, can I be Orwell today? No.
Listen, you can do whatever you want. I'm just saying what I saw.
How are you, good sir?
I'm good, man. I'm great actually. Yeah. Thank you.
Man, I'm excited to have you here. Excited to talk about you. First and foremost, start up. Tell people a little bit about yourself in case they don't know.
So yeah, my name is Jay Street Jr. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. I also work with young people as a youth advocate, and that's it in a really, small nutshell. I'm a musician, a youth advocate, and I'm just trying to use, what my skills are to make the world a better place. Real simple. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, all right. And I'm sorry, Jake. Hold on one second. I talk about people. Okay, he's downplaying it a little bit. So I just want y'all to know, like just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because he played the keys, he has vocals out of this world. Yes, he does help save the youth. He is an activist outside of the youth part. Like that's a whole nother thing. With him, and he's one half of the Jay and Nas show. Listen, the man has performed everywhere, like not just Delaware. Don't do that. So, like, I need y'all to know that's Jay Street. This is what we're getting into. So, my first question I gotta ask: how did you wind up in this journey of art in general?
Yeah, and I actually love telling this story over and over again because I think it's important. I didn't get involved with any kind of art or music until I was 20, and that was about when I was in my sophomore year at Morehouse. I decided to switch from trying to be a psychiatrist to becoming a full-time musician. Basically, when I got to school, I joined the Glee Club because I knew I should join something. I really had no interest in anything choral or anything like that, but I was told that it was like the best organization on campus for a lot of different reasons. I knew I could carry a tune. So I was like, let me just audition and see how it goes. I auditioned. I got, I accepted into the organization. And within about a year, just I was just knocked out by the power of music, and specifically by what that organization did. And previously, I have no problem saying, because I think it's important, I was nothing but a meathead, football playing, video game, girl chasing meathead. I'm still kind of that. But that was all I knew at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, would not have guessed that. Okay, so let me
Hmm.
back up because I feel like the Glee Club at the HBCU got to be lit. Like, I'm pretty.
Well, so it's a very funny story because I have to keep it a beam. All right. This was I like, listen, when you get into, I'm at Morehouse. I'm at an all male school. Have There's a lot of different reasons that I went there, because of Spike Lee, because of Dr. King, but also because there was a 15-to-1 female to male ratio. Keeping it 100, right? I was like, oh, this is going to be fantastic. I'm out of Delaware. I'm in Atlanta. Now, the Glee Club is a chorus, and as I love choral music now, but at the time I was like, man, I do not like. I'm going to do this because it's the right thing. And quite frankly, it was my first real experience with there being a lot of homosexuality. Okay, it was a very new thing to me, and I was like, wow, it's here and it's prevalent in this organization, and it really made me expand just my perspective on reality in a good way. And that so I experienced that at first, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. This is too much for me at the time. And I thought about my decision and realized that I left for really wrong reasons, got back involved for the right reasons. And at the end of the day, that organization, because of the brotherhood and because of the level of musicianship, completely changed my trajectory for all good reasons. So, yeah.
Got you. So it became a lesson in diversity that you didn't
Oh,
expect to.
absolutely. Like, listen, I came from Delaware, and I came from a very small, predominantly white private school. So I was in a small bubble, and I was like, Atlanta in itself is overwhelming. The AUC in itself was overwhelming, and you add the situation with the Glee Club, and I was like, whoa, this was a lot. And it all of that stretched me in good ways. Yeah.
Got you. Got you. So this is how you found your voice,
Oh,
essentially.
this is not, well, it took me a while to find my actual voice, but it's where I found my real passion. And one of the things that really got me involved, like, the process of creating art is fun in itself. And the power of, how, in as much as I said what I said about the organization and the diversity in it, on the other side of it, when you walk into uh, Spelman's campus, or when you go to Clark, Atlanta, or when you go to a black church in Atlanta, and they see 100 black men in suits and ties singing powerfully, boy, that's something else. They're like, woo! And I was like, oh, I like how this feels. Oh, they like this. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely started with vanity. But then I asked questions, and I'm realizing that there's a real science to music as I'm talking to people and as I'm, educating myself and asking questions, because I'm like, yo, I would talk to the music makers, like, yo, how do you know how to do this? Or what is that? And I'm like, huh. It was just interesting, like on a scientific, nerdy level. I was like, yo, I didn't know that this was what music it is, what music is. So I'm like, I can have fun, get my little ego trip, you know what I'm saying? And I can kind of address the nerdy side of me and really study this as a science. And it was like, oh, this is wonderful. It was just all of the things that I like. And it was all of those pieces for sure.
So the science of music,
Hmm.
what is that to you?
It gives you, like, that's a good question, because you don't really, so it gives you not just rules in a bad way, but it gives you tools. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you do this, you get this, and use it accordingly. Like, if we switched it to something completely different, um, if you use this kind of concrete or you use this kind of metal, you're going to get this kind of a structure, and it will hold up this way. And music is very much that way, but it's still an art, so you get to add your creativity into it. But there are still rules. If you take a vibrating string and cut it in half, it will vibrate twice as fast. That's just a physical fact. And when you start playing with those factors, you get things that just work. If I play you a major chord, it's going to feel completely different from a minor chord, and all humans respond accordingly. It's just it's a fact, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty almost like cooking. Essentially,
Oh
if
yes.
you
Yes.
adding certain seasonings, when you add this to something, it's going to
Hmm.
add more flavor to that, or
Yep.
things like that kind of can all bring it together.
You know, and black people might want more salt. You know, like somebody might want more adobo, more hot sauce, but everybody reacts to salt the same. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to get the same basic response, and you decide how much of it you want, but it's still the same thing. You know?
Okay. So now, how did you want? If it took you a while to find your voice, and I ask this because I love for other artists out here figuring it out to know, how did you find your voice, especially amongst another 100 black men singing with you?
Oh, bro,
Like,
I didn't find my voice until maybe almost 20 years later. Let's be clear. Yeah, so it probably took me until I was about 36. If I graduated when I was 21, 22, I didn't really find my real voice until I was like 37. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. Part of it is because when I really started studying music formally, I got a lot of classical training. So I sang like a lot of operatic music. And so the way that I sang, uh, it was very, you could tell that I was trained, and I was always like, yo, I don't want you to know that I know how to sing. I just want you to like what you hear. But people would always be like, yo, I can tell you've trained. I can tell. I'm like, yo, I don't want you to know. I just want you to recognize that I'm singing the right way and not messing up my voice and still making you enjoy it. But I don't want you to be like, oh, he's a trained singer. I can tell. You know what I'm saying? And it took me a while to get that out of my voice, not just my voice, but also in terms of how I created. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of
yeah,
different pieces in it. And also just life. You know, all of those pieces had to come into place before I really was like, oh, this is J Street. You know what I mean?
absolutely. Okay, right. So you got Jay. He goes from this HBCU. He starts to sing. Life takes you through life, and then you really understand your vocals. In the midst of this, you actually start. What made you start to perform and really kind of go on stages yourself by yourself?
So as soon as I started playing songs and learning how to write songs, well, number one, with the Glee Club specifically, I mean, we went on 2-week tours every year. We went overseas, like we were performing all over the place already. So the one of the things that I have to say specifically about the Glee Club, people always ask me, yo, how come you're never scared on stage? Like you're never scared, and like I'm like because like I swear, the only thing scarier than the Apollo was singing for the Morehouse College Glee Club. If you sing one wrong note, them Negroes will bury you. Like, and you will get buried in real time. Like, you crack a note, sing wrong, you're gonna have a couple of dudes, and you hear the behind you, and you know you messed up, and you know you're gonna get clowned afterwards. You know, once you get over that and can deal with that, nothing else mattered. So it was just a matter of once I got, you know, and especially because these are trained people who have been singing all their lives. Like they're telling you they're only 18, but they've been singing and doing music forever in church and all the right places. So once I got over fear of that smoke, nothing else mattered. I
How
couldn't
did
care less. You could laugh me off the stage, like, you know, I'm like, no, well, it's not as
they
bad
lit
as
you up?
them 20 years
They, they, they,
ago.
they lit you up from time to time? Like you caught the
Oh,
fire?
what's that?
You caught the fire from time to time? They got
Oh,
on
it's
you?
like literally making fun of you. Like, yo, you sound like, what are you doing, Jay? Like you hear laughing and giggling behind you as you're singing. And I did it. Like if I'm singing and I hear someone going flat or going sharp or changing the key, we're all like, like, yeah, it was at that level, like right here next to me, like, damn, son. So no, that'll get you right. And I have no fear because of that experience. I would never change it. Yeah. Zero fear. And that's
Wow.
so once I decided I'm gonna write my song, it's like the fear factor was gone and it has always been since then.
Okay, wait. We skipped the part.
Yeah,
Somehow we got into writing here. Okay,
yes.
you mentioned writing. Okay, how'd you get from the vocals? Because in the Glee Club, y'all sing, but y'all
Yeah.
don't necessarily write the song.
No, no,
How
no.
did you get to being a writer?
So I'll say that if I have any kind of a gift that I don't have to work as hard for, it's that. I distinctly remember I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write a song. And I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna write a song. And the first song I wrote, really ever, was a song called Halfway Over. It was a love song about only being halfway over a girl. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't get over, and you know you messed up and you were only halfway over her. And it was like, if I played you the song right now, you wouldn't believe that it was my first song, because it's really well. I'm not a super braggy kind of person, but like, it was a good song, and you wouldn't. That's, if I have a just kind of innate gift, it's the ability to write song. I don't know where it comes from. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you was writing songs before the Glee Club, or
No, no. I was like, I was like, oh, I can sing. Well, let me write a song. So I wrote that song when I was like 20. Yeah.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So now here's the other side of this picture. The
Hmm.
other side of this picture is the activist side. Right? So outside of you having your voice, outside of you being at the HBCU, you are describing yourself as the gamer, jock, chasing them Jones, right?
Hmm.
So where did the fist come up? Like, how did you? Why did we get there
My
throughout the?
dad, my dad has spent a lifetime. J Street Senior has spent a lifetime serving his community, and in as much as I am a self-professed meathead, blah 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 blah, I went to Morehouse for a reason. Like, I wanted to follow in the legacy of Dr. King. Like, I realized that now that I'm done high school, I got to start taking life seriously, and I wanted to find some kind of a way to give back, just because. And that's another part that's just genetics in me. Like, my dad, his mom was highly, my grandmother was highly involved in the community. It's just it's as in it's as part of my genetics as anything. Like, it was, there was never going to be a time where I don't find some way to give back, and music is an obvious tool for that, you know. So it's always been there. No matter what I would have done as a, you know, for a profession, there would have always been some part of me that gave back, just out of responsibility and legacy. You know what I'm saying?
So as you started to give back and as you started to be involved in the community and helping people, did your view change?
Oh yeah. I mean, again, I came from listen, I went to Tower Hill School. Okay. I went there from
Good
the age
school. It's a really good school. It's a
of
really good school.
4 to 18. I'm like, my dad had to work 3 jobs to send me there. But I went. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was surrounded by privilege. And on one hand, my dad, like, I went to Hilltop Camp. You know, I spent all my summers at Hilltop Lutheran Neighborhood Center Camp, so I was totally comfortable. You know, in any environment. You know, you could throw me anywhere. You can take me all the way from the hood, you know, all the way to the DuPont family, and I'm perfectly comfortable. And that's because of my dad, no doubt about it. But yeah, that's kind of where that comes from, for sure. And it's just,
So
it had to.
so how did your view change once you were actually
Yeah.
involved?
I just, the first thing that I started to realize, I'm sorry, is I recognized my privilege. You know what I mean? And I recognized how much I was given. And, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. It's just that simple. To whom much is given, much is required. And recognizing how much I was given, and recognizing that I was one of the lucky ones for a bunch of different reasons. It's my job to pull people forward. Like, you don't get to just sit on all of this, you know, fortune and not help, because, and my dad did it, my grandmom did it. Like, I know where I come from. Everyone is helping, and it's my job to do that, you know. And that's the main thing. And even now, you never, because I've never been in certain shoes, I'm never going to totally get it. But I've developed really strong empathy, you know what I mean? And just, I try my best to not judge. But no, it's been, the main thing is realizing how much I was given versus so many other people. And that's not even black people. I mean, just in general. Like, most kids don't get to go to Tower Hill, you know? So it's all of those things. And most kids don't get to go to Morehouse. Most kids don't get to go, just leave Delaware and go to an HBCU. So all of these things, like, you know what I mean? Even at Morehouse, I'm like, yo, all of, like, it was funny to come from Tower Hill and realized how many other black kids grew up spoiled. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I'm not the only one. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of us. And thank God for Morehouse for instilling the need in everyone to give back. It's all of those things teaching me to not just sit on my privilege. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta ask: was it at any point was it ever difficult to do being a like you work with kids now, kind of like as a youth advocate to a certain extent, you kind of help them out. Was it ever difficult to not just say, "Listen, I got this degree from Morehouse. I got some good connects. If I wanted to, I could just get up, get the checks, and
No,
live in that state."
it's always a little bit awkward, but because I'm a big mouth and just generally bold, I don't shy from it. But it's always a little bit awkward because let's be honest. The small, long-haired, light-skinned, private school nigga. You know what I'm saying? Every last, like, there are so many different tiers who are like, yo, you ain't. So I understand that from the rip. I know what I'm walking into and how I'm going to probably prejudge, and it doesn't always happen, but I get it. Like, I'm not mad at it. I understand what I'm walking into, and I accept it, and I do my best to tread lightly, but also not shy from it. It's a balance, but if that's my biggest complaint, or if that's like, my biggest struggle, I'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can deal with that. Like, it is like it's not gonna. That's a manageable situation. I have to tread lightly, be thoughtful, and not also and still just be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever found yourself having to prove yourself, or
Oh
is
yes,
that a thing?
yes. That's what. You sent my little light skinned self to Hilltop with the hood kids. They gonna test me, and I'll like listen. I'm not. I remember the little boy like he made me mad. And I went, Dad, oh Dad, he did this and the other. My dad was like, if you don't, it's traditional. My dad's still black. He was like, listen, if you don't handle that, when you come back, you gonna catch it twice. So I'm here for the smoke. I don't want the smoke, but if you must bring it, I can reciprocate. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, Tower Hill, yes, Hilltop. So however you want to take it, I'm cool. I'd rather not, but it's fine. So I've always recognized what I'm walking into and recognizing that, I might have to puff my chest out a little bit, and I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Oh man. So okay, and wasn't going to ask this, but we're here. So on the other hand, sometimes you get into you walk into some of the quote unquote higher class rooms, the above the median rooms, and that's another atmosphere. Do you find yourself? I don't want to say either judged there, or do they get too
Yes.
comfortable?
You get
Okay.
judged everywhere, and the reason one of the main reasons that I don't like to be in really like snotty environments and just really super high income and it's just they're stiff. It's not fun. Everyone is trying to make sure that they don't embarrass themselves. Everyone's trying to fit in a certain mold and look a certain way. And because I always have stood out, even at Tower Hill, I quickly got over giving an F. You know what I'm saying? So it was just always awkward. And the thing about is this: I would black people can recognize black people no matter what. Like you could be super duper light skinned with straight hair, and you'd be like still in. Like we know because we're around it. You can recognize it. You know what I'm saying? So I've never had a problem with black people recognizing that I'm black. It's just the judgment for being a small light skinned dude, right? But when you're around a lot of white people who don't spend their time around black people, they think that the only black people are 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? So my frustration there was you're not black. And I'm like, yo, how dare you tell me what I am? Plus you're ignorant because you don't know what blackness is. You know what I'm saying? So I've always been more comfortable around my people because of my people. But that's the thing about being in those environments. I'm always having to like the code switching, the having to, re-explain certain things. It's so annoying. You know what I'm saying? like and especially when I was growing up, because I'm older than I look, and I was in high school right when hip hop was starting to become popular. So I would play, like Wu Tang in the senior homeroom. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, what is this like rap stuff? Like, why do you listen? We want to hear Dave Matthews. We want to hear Smashing Pumpkins." And I'd be like, "This is whack. I don't want to hear it. And 10 years later, all the kids are growing up with hip hop, but it was different for me. So I'm always in one way or another, just, the only one, which is fine, you know?
Wow, I can't. It's so weird because we're 50 years of hip hop, so it's been mainstreamed in such a weird way now
Yeah.
that people often forget that it was a subsegment in the culture.
Yes.
It wasn't like the main thing.
Dude, I was playing, Outkast, Southern Playalistic Cadillac music, and some of the kids were like, what? They sounded like my parents. What is this boom, bappity, bap, rippity, rap stuff that you're playing? Like, what is that? Where's the guitars? And I'm like, oh my God. Like, oh. So, yeah, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So now, with that said, now we get to blending the activism with the music.
Hmm.
Right now, we not go. I'm not gonna say you was a meathead anymore. I guess the meat and added cheese and all types of
Yeah, the
things.
meathead never really goes away, but you decorate it and
You
layer
decorate the meat. That just sounds weird. Okay. Oh,
it.
you brought into horizons. What made you then take the art and then say, you know what, I'm gonna write about the struggle. I'm gonna write about what people are going through and lend to that.
Because as if you're black in America, you live these things. I'm not going to say that my struggle was the worst, but like you can't when you see, like when you see George Floyd and all the things that happened but way before George Floyd happened, you can't not be affected by that. Like it makes you angry. Like most black people are always half boiling, and it's for obvious reasons. So I'm affected by that too. Like when I see these things happen on TV, I'm thinking about myself, I'm thinking about my friends and my family, and it's not like I had to force myself to understand the dynamics. It's there, so I'm gonna write about it. That's my job, you know what I mean?
Wow. Okay. It's deep that you say that because I mean a lot of people don't. A lot of people even when they write in such a singular space. They don't necessarily write about the general struggle, right? That to me, and even as a poet, it's not easy for a
Shout
lot
out
of
to
people
Duff.
to
Duff is
accept
on
it.
there. Duff was on one of my songs. We did a song together, Freebird. He destroyed that verse. I love what Duff does when he does what he does. He's
Is
fantastic. But
Freebird available? Can people listen to Freebird right now?
go to YouTube and look up Freebird with Duff 100 and J Focus. Listen, I just sang the hook. Those two MCs wrecked it. So keep going. I'm sorry, I had to say that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, I see you detoured me. So now I got. How'd you get your name, J Focus? What J Focus? That's a rap name,
That's
sir.
not
How
me.
did
I'm
you,
talking about J Focus. That's not me. I don't
oh
rap.
no. Okay, because I was like, wait, you got a rap
No, no,
name
no, no,
too?
no,
Did
no,
I
no, no,
miss
no, no.
that?
Nobody must
Okay.
my bars. No.
You're a writer. We're not gonna do that. You never know. You
No,
got
no, no,
rapper
no,
hands.
no, no. No, we
Your
have enough
rapper
Drakes.
hands work.
There's too many Drakes already. So.
Oh, okay. Now, a lot of people who sing, especially a lot of people who sing again and write in general, they tend to shy away from things that can be politically controversial, right? Like you said, hey, it's my job. A lot of people don't take on that coat. A lot of people don't embrace that feeling. What made you feel like, so what? I'm here. Let's do it.
It's genetics, bro. Like my dad has had his. He's been on the front lines for the like I remember as a kid, getting phone calls to the house, with people trying to threaten him. I recall all the times he's been paranoid. I see that even right now, he's still, he's still on the front lines going hard with no fear. So I'm a junior. So, if I'm a junior, how dare me be scared. I'm gonna take the baton, and I'm gonna I'm not gonna be scared. I'm not scared of doing on stage because the Glee Club they burn me, and we all of us are here because of significant bravery. So I have no excuse to show any cowardice. No. Yeah.
Absolutely. So now, as you're writing, and you're pouring out into it, is it difficult? Like, does it hurt a little bit, or is it like more of a release?
For me, it just puts me in a space of anger, and I don't like to be in that space because if were it not for the history of our country, I wouldn't be walking around with just general anger, despite my privileged background. Um, So it puts me in a place of anger, but that's not my natural state. I'm just a goofball. I'm a goofy doofus. Like that's who I really am. But you know, it puts me in a place of anger, and I have to be in that space in order to say what needs to be said, because obviously seeing someone get choked out on camera, for awful reasons, murder, it makes you angry. So
Yeah.
singing
Yeah.
about that is going to reflect that, you know?
Yes. Yes. Now let's take the leap forward, right? So now we got the vocals, we got the pen, right? The advocacy, you helping the world, and then you say, you know what? Yeah, right. The world watches the knee on the neck. You know what I mean? Like that was a moment. And you said, we got something happen around the corner that just happened. You feel me? What made you say, and what made you decide to go in and write about Bam Bam in the Blue? Like outside of the video, which is prolific, shout out to Sam and that whole thing. But what made you even write that song? Like what made you say, hey, we got to talk about this one too?
So I had a podcast that I was doing called The Sit Down. And I was just interviewing people that interested me. And I kept seeing Keandra make her posts about what happened to her brother. And I remember when that all went down, but I kept seeing Keandra's posts. And then, long story short, is I started to feel guilty about not really responding. I don't think even as a city, when that all happened, I still feel like we didn't respond as forcefully as we should have in the moment. And that guilt made me reach out to Keandra and be like, yo, I need to hear your whole story. And when she told me the whole story with absolute bravery, I was like, oh my gosh, nobody really understands what actually happened. And again, it's responsibility. Like I don't want to, poke the hornet's nest. I don't want to, be angry and cussing in my songs and that, in that kind of way. I don't want to be in that space, but we have a responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Like what happened to him was awful. And it's nothing but a sense of responsibility. That's it.
Absolutely. Okay, right. You took that terrible story and you made it art in a way that people could see it and feel it in case it was missing. And you're right. I wholeheartedly believe that the city was not prepared for it, and it took a long time to respond. With that said, what made you feel like, hey, when you laid the record, did the video, what made you feel like, you know what, now is the time to put this out to the world?
So the song really took in term from conception to when it was released over the summer. There was probably about a 2 to 3 year period where we slowly got it together, and Keandra had some things going on, a lot going on, quite frankly. And then just the timing of when everyone's available to do the video and all those things. It was just a matter of timing. And quite frankly, I think that the timing worked out exactly as it should for a lot of different reasons. So it all kind of came to a head once, and it's funny how God works, but it was there are several things that kind of had to fall into place before it was really ready to be done the right way. Everything from people acquiring, the right kind of equipment to do the video, to Keandra being in a proper space to do it. All those things came together at the right time, and it happened when it should have. So it was a work in progress. It took about 2 to 3 years.
Wow. Okay. And I can feel that. Like I'm not gonna lie. I could feel it from not only hearing the song but processing the video. It was like, okay, this was made to splash as it did.
For
Like it
sure.
wasn't, and it did splash. It was one of those like, oh, we ran it up. Like it was a wait, oh.
Yeah, and thank you all for watching it. Like it meant a lot. Like people paid attention, and there was never an intention of making any money off it. It was just a matter of making sure that people understand what really happened. And so, thank you all for watching it. Yeah.
Absolutely, because that's the type of video that I think I love when art can change perspective,
Yeah.
right? And I think that for a lot of black and brown people, we kind of sometimes we accept this reality, or sometimes
Yeah.
we're just aware of this reality. But there are other people who may not be as aware,
Yep.
right? Or there are, and I tell you, there are definitely people who can be like, oh, that one happened in Delaware.
Yeah. It doesn't get any more like I'm not trying to measure whose murder was the worst, but it doesn't get too much worse than shooting a man in a wheelchair 17 times. Like
Yes.
it's as horrible could be. So
And there's no real reason or way to justify that world.
no.
Um, so now there's a song and then there's the video.
Right.
So now that video, woo,
Yeah.
like you hear the song, you be like, oh, Then you hear that video, you be like, hold up, hold
Yeah.
up, like that video. Now, conceptually, how did that video come together? Because that had to hurt to make.
Yeah.
Okay.
That it was. Everyone had to function in a very dark place to get that done properly, and none of us like to be in that space. Everyone who was involved with it, we're goofballs, we're fun jokers, but it was like we have a responsibility. Um, so it was difficult to be in that space for sure, but the whole process was basically like the story tells itself, you know what I mean, like the story is what it is. So I brought it to my brother, Sam Wilson, who's another excellent MC, but he's also super talented with the camera. We basically storyboarded it and came up with different ideas and just made sure that the story was accurate. And we just kept referencing stuff with Keandra to make sure that, it all made sense and lined up for her. And then we just kind of went by the checklist and shot all the different scenes. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's what's up. Again, shout out to Sam. That man prolific right there,
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah. He did his thing. He definitely did his thing.
I'm thinking. G, update your calendar. Who would be cool as a breeze delivering the Winter Queen? That would be the Naughty G's and Friends live at the Queen. I mean, the Nomad has Soulful House, DJ Sonic Healer for the homeless. Bring them canned goods out. You're in Dover, touchdown at the end zone. The goal is to take a flick with Christmas. I'm talking Santa and the Grinch. The sweaters are ugly, the vibes uplift ya. DJ Tim Dog at Townsend Tavern and Liquor. Like really rock, just let me know. See Echoes, that's Pink Floyd with an immersive light show. On Christmas Eve, if you partake, all you have to do is chill with Fuzzy Socks and Darnell Miller's Oh Come Emmanuel or J Streets. Please warm the world. If you must go out, you better do it right.
And may your heart be a breeze.
Don't miss the sound and sights of the Broer family lights. On December 25th. No matter what you celebrate, A Christmas Story, Home Alone, and Die Hard can get you through the day. Please don't say play Jingle All the Way, but that third Friday, Yuletide vibes all day. Okay, next day, Kwanzaa can connect you and me. Embrace a moja. As we celebrate with community. I see the teens are bored or annoying already. Go and carry them to the Brandywine 100 library. It's a party. Are you here for business? This networking mixer? Strategize your future. Vision Board Edition. Listen. When it's upon you, speak your spirit, alright? For now, receive Rhonda's words at the Holy Mic. Let me get this right. The Kwanzaa event on the 26th. You thought that was it? There's something every day for you to celebrate with purpose.
So okay, right. Now, question. I'm curious. Would you say when you think about the songs that you have written and the songs that you've made, like in my brain, they keep getting more and more kind of impactful? Because I've heard your catalog. I listened to it a year ago before the Martin Luther King situation. I was like, okay, this is where we're at, and that's when I really heard your voice.
I appreciate that.
Because you pick and choose when you step out and sing. Like you're very selective on not only when you sing recorded wise, you're very selective on when you sing on stages. Why is that?
There's a lot. That's a great question, and there's a lot of reasons for that. One of the reasons is that so I have a family, and I don't want to be out all like every single night doing the kind of traditional 3 hour for a few $100, all the time. I am like in a wedding band with a traditional cover band, and that pays well and allows me to kind of keep myself in vocal health. You know what I mean? It keeps my voice strong. So I'm always doing the repetitions, like I'm always singing. So, if I'm figuring out a way to just keep my voice moving and make money with fun people that I like being around, that gives me the space, honestly, to pick and choose. You know what I mean? Like I have my job working with the kids, I have the wedding band stuff, so it leaves me in a place where I don't have to do anything that I don't want to. And I'm fortunate to be able to have that situation, but I don't want to be at a local bar for 3 hours just singing and singing and singing. And honestly, it's also hard to get people to come out with the kind of music that I do because I don't really do covers. for the most part, except for with that band. But if it's you see just me, a J Street show, I do like a couple of covers, but I do my music my way, and it's not really commercial, and I'm okay with that. So when I do it, it's very much pick and choose, not just because I want to sing when I want to sing, but because I know that in this market, specifically in a small place, like there's also probably just not that many opportunities to just regularly perform because of what I specifically do. So, you know, I get my little set of the things that I want to say the way that I want to say them, and I do my best to get my message out exactly how I want to. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, and does that carry over into when you're recording as well? Like, hey, somebody asks you to do a song. Yo, Jay, I need you. Yo, can you do a? Hey, can you give me some vocals on this hook? And you be
No,
like,
that's actually fun for me. If somebody wants me to jump in the studio and do something, I'm all for that. Because that's not like if I'm working with someone that I like or just have a good chemistry with, I'll do that all day. That's just fun. You know what I mean? I don't even. That's when I'm literally just having a good time. Like when I do stuff with Sam, you know, we're just like kids in a play box. You know what I mean? A sandbox, just having a good time. So yeah, if the artist is dope and we're just having fun, yeah, I could do that kind of stuff all day. Yeah.
all right, so now we got. Oh, hey, wait, why don't I have a why don't I have a J Street album? Why why can't I just put on the J Street with it?
So the sit down is there. You know what I'm saying? That was a full. It wasn't an album, but it was a somewhere
Like an
between
EP.
EP and album.
Yeah.
But honestly, if I'm keeping it 100, it's a matter of being able to pay for it and do it properly. You know what I mean? I just have to be as I had a family, so I have to be able to justify spending really between $5,000 to $10,000 to do these things properly. You know, to pay musicians, to pay for studio time, because I'm not knocking anything else, but like, you know, if you're using a full band and doing original stuff and you have to rehearse these people and really get it done, if I get it done at the right, if it's going to be high quality, it's going to cost money. And then I have to be able to justify recouping that money. Now, at some point in time, before I get too old, all of this giant catalog that I have that no one has heard, that I have in my head and that I can play on songs, it has to get recorded. And then I don't want to cut corners, but eventually I'm going to have to figure out a way to get it done. Because even with the Bam Bam song, I had to kind of cut some corners, you know, to still make it a situation, whereas my wife's not like, yo, you can't just spend that kind of money if we're not going to get something back. And my wife is great. She doesn't give me any smoke, but it's like I still have to be responsible about it. I can't just blow money if I'm not going to get it back. And, you know, maybe that's my problem in terms of I'm not really good at recouping what I put out there. But I can't, if I spend 10 G's, I got to know some of that's going to come back. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Trust me, I read your post when you literally struggled. Like, I read it, and I was like, I feel you were like, I'm struggling with this
Yeah.
because I have art, and if I put this art out and you pay me what you pay for streaming service, I'm gonna be pissed because I feel like you just played.
Yeah. And like, so, and it's probably to some extent a flaw, but I'm fiercely independent. I don't know. You're not telling me what to do and how to do my art. So I could go the traditional way and sort of look for a record deal. But then, number one, someone's telling you what to do. Not having it. I spent too much time working on my craft to do things my way. And number two, you know, everyone understands how awful record deals are in the traditional way. Like, and and the music industry is getting worse and worse in that regard. So it's just I'm functioning in a very strange and small box, and it's not easy. But I'd rather do this than compromise the way that I say things, the way than compromise what I want to say. Like, God forbid, you know, some record company exec is saying you can't release Bam Bam but the Blue, or Bam Bam versus the Blue. Kick rocks. I'm going to do this my way. You're not going to tell me what to do. I'm going to use this musician. I'm going to have, if it's too long to use, sorry. This is how it's going to be. So it's just, I'm a little belligerent, and I want it to be on my terms. But again, at some point, I'm going to have to figure out a way to get all of these songs that I have recorded, if for no other reason, just having a record of what I did, a literal record of my work, my art. You know what I mean? Like I can't leave this planet and have it just be up here under my hands. It has to be documented, and that's going to be, I think, the ultimate reason. You know?
Absolutely, and I'm gonna say this to you, like ain't nobody listening. Listen, it's not that you're operating in a strange or weird anything. You're an artist. Listen, I listed a bunch of things above your name on that flyer. None of them said entertainer. Yes, you're entertaining.
Yeah.
You entertain, but
Yeah.
you are an artist, right? And I think that this world gets things blurry when art meets commerce, and we add entertainment in the mix of it. And
Yeah.
then people all of a sudden start to be like, oh, well, and move different, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I do feel on sort of the sunny side of things that like the world in general is moving to a place where you can really be more independent. It's just I've got to really figure out how to do it my way on my terms, understanding the kind of music that I generally do. And it's a hard thing, but I'm also happy as an artist. Like I'm able to pay my bills more or less, doing what I want. I do want to do more and I do want to draw more income, but um, not in a way that sacrifices the things that mean the most to me, which are really my family and my time. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So okay, right now, and that this is just perfect segue. So like we do all of these things, and right, you had us into an emotional moment with Bam Bam versus the Blue, right? You did, and then you said, you know what? We're gonna get some Yuletide vibes up in this mother. Okay,
Yeah.
I was listen, this man sent me this big Crosby. Okay, this ain't Donny Hathaway. Okay, not the Chris Brown version. I said Donny
Don't.
Hathaway. I said, what am I listening to? What made you decide to pivot into a holiday record and be
So
like, this is what we're
I
doing?
knew that whatever I was going to do next was going to be a certain pivot because I'm not an angry dude. Like that's not me. But it had to be said. But I knew I had to make a pivot. So initially I was going to do like a real soulful love song. But then I love Christmas. If there are two ways that you could get me.
Hold up, time out. You should see yourself light up. When you watch this replay, I want you to see your eye. I love, like, your eye got bright. It was crazy. Go
It's
ahead, man.
such a fun time of year. I love the songs. There are two things that you could make me that would make me stop writing songs. If I had a chance to spend all of my time in a Christmas cover band or a Bob Marley band, one of those two things, I'll do that from here on out. You know what I'm saying? So I love I love this time of year. It's my favorite time of year. I love Christmas music. I mean, I could go into it, but like if you really look at how these Christmas songs, the traditional ones are written, they're written really, really, really well. Like they're really perfectly written songs. So it was, this is October, and I'm like, you know what? I wonder if I could just kind of crank out a Christmas song real quick because I want to be, not only do I want to be in a good mood, but I want to put people in a good mood. I want to make people feel good. And I distinctly remember it was really kind of weird. I was sitting in the kitchen and I was sitting on the couch and my kids were in the kitchen at the table. And I was like, I'm going to do a Christmas song. And I was like, I was like, I think I could do something with that melody. It was just kind of jumped in my head. And I was like, all right, let me go downstairs. And it started right there. And it took maybe about 2 weeks to finish the song. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to get this thing recorded and out in time for the holidays because it makes me happy and I know that the song is going to make people feel good. Ultimately, that's really what I want to do. Like you have a responsibility to talk about the tough stuff, but like I want you to just feel good. And that's what that song is about. It was for me and everybody to just I really want because here's the thing. I'm not even that religious. Like I have a spirituality and my mom, my grandma, Lord knows that she tried to raise me in Shiloh Baptist Church and make me follow that path. But at the end of the day, I really believe this that if you really kind of just quiet yourself and pay attention to the vibe that's underneath all of the hecticness and all of the money and all that kind of stuff, there's like a certain just like familial warmth that is there. It's cold outside, but we're all like excited to kind of be around each other, to see family, to get a little bit toasty, you know what I'm saying? Eat meals together. It's a beautiful time. And I wanted to just say that in the song, like despite all of the craziness, there's a beautiful vibe that we can all tap into. And if we do, it'll make us all just feel warm and fuzzy. You know what I'm saying? Like I just want to feel good. Yeah.
Yes, yes. How long did that take to make?
It took me about a week and a half, 2 weeks to finish the song. And then the next step was like figuring out how to record it. You
Who
know,
produced it?
so I did all of the writing and did all of that part of it. And basically, once I had it finished, I got Ishmael, Naja's husband, to bring in his
Ish.
equipment, and we recorded it. He did all the engineering. right at Opera Delaware Studios. So I brought him all the music and said, this is how it's going to be, you know, had it all laid out. And he mic'd everything up properly. And the strings that you hear on there, I have to say this, the strings that you hear on there, it sounds like a small orchestra. It's
Yeah.
one girl, Christina Von Duke, who played 3 different instruments over the course of that. So I laid my performance with just the piano and the vocals, and she came in afterwards and played the violin 3 times, played the viola 3 times, and played the cello 3 times, and layered all of that. So between, you know, her and Ish knowing what he's doing in the studio, that's it. That's all that's on there. You know what I mean? And it came out really, really well. I'm really proud of how it came out. Especially because of the conditions that we were working under. You know what I mean? And we did it all in Delaware, all with Delaware people. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, yes. That is super dope. You say some things that, all right, I gotta run back to this, right? Because I think about your affiliations at times. You, the same way that you're selective at times of when you perform and those things like that, and it may not even be intentional, but some of your affiliations are just like, wow, everybody doesn't have these. So, like, you have a theater in connection, and recording at Opera Delaware Studio. Don't get it wrong. I don't know a lot of people that recorded there. How did that connection even make a marriage? Where'd that come from? You do
So
opera?
I do. So
Go.
the first time I was ever paid to sing was singing Porgy and Bess with Opera Delaware. So that's the first time I ever made money singing. Someone paid me to sing. You know, I sang with Opera Delaware, and I was, you know, fresh out of school, and I spent a lot of time in that space, and I got out of opera and started really doing my stuff. But Carrie Ann Otano, she, you know her, she's fantastic. So she's one of these people who is really helping us to keep classical music and opera and, you know, that style of singing current and kind of cool and hip. And so she brought, this is a long sort of, Megan Newberry, who takes photos and has been awesome for Naj and Jay, reached out to Naj and Jay like, yo, you got to meet Carrie Ann. We clicked with Carrie Ann like in my head that, yo, I'd like to do the song back in that studio because I remember the acoustics in there are fantastic. And I reached out and she was like, yeah, you can use the space for sure. So that's how that came about. Plain and simple. Yeah.
Wow. How many operas have you performed in? This is interesting.
You know what's funny? I'm sitting on a piano bench with a whole bunch of flyers like from those operas in there. But maybe, I mean, I was with them for like about 3 years. So maybe I'll guess maybe somewhere between 10 to 15 shows with them. You know what I mean? Something like that. Yeah.
What time frame bracket? Because I got Glee Club.
Yeah.
Somehow we do 3 years in the opera. When did that hit?
This was so like it gets complicated, bro. But so I graduated Morehouse with a degree in psychology, but as soon as I finished there, I went right back to school at University of Delaware to study classical composition. So as soon as I finished at UD, that's when I started with Opera Delaware and doing Porgy and Bess. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a style of music that you like to sing the best?
I mean, I'm coming ultimately from Donny Hathaway, Duke Ellington, Sam Cooke, Stevie Wonder. You wouldn't hear it in my music, but James Brown is always in my head. You know, and I'm a 90s hip hop child. There's no way around that. So all of those pieces are just Otis Redding, you know, these are the voices that are ultimately in my head, and I'm just trying to do it my way and sing so that I can sing for a long time. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Listen. By the way, you got to pause and I talk to my people for a second. He said, listen, in case you don't know, he said, listen, I look at the greats in general. Okay, and what they did so I can sing for a long time. He didn't say for a quick buck.
No.
That's important because this world chases a quick buck with artistry for commerce. No, long commerce comes with being able to chase the greats and do what legends have done for, 30, 40, 50 years.
Well, one of the things that I don't think a lot of people would know, and they wouldn't, there's no reason for you to know this, but like if you are singing correctly, your voice should not only maintain itself well into your 70s, it actually, especially as a male, your voice should get darker and more rich, almost like the same way as like a whiskey or a wine. It should age and get better and better with time, as long as you don't hurt it. So if you sing the right way, you should, if you see somebody who's 50, 60 years old and their voice is gone, because they didn't sing right. And that's not to say they didn't sing in a way that's entertaining or fun or enjoyable, but like they were doing things vocally that messed up their longevity. And you can do both. It's a hard thing to do, but if you sing right and put some soul into it, you can do it for a long time at a high level. Like look at
So
look
the
at look at some
reason
of the
why,
greats who are still doing it. Like look at like Gladys Knight. You know what I mean? Look at Patti LaBelle. You know, the voice is still there. You know what I mean? And it's because she's singing the right way. It doesn't mean you got to sing opera. It's just there's a certain way that your voice is supposed to function, and if you start to break those rules, you'll tear it up. Yeah.
so the reason why Ronald Isley still can say chance, he can still hit what?
Or DeBarge, L. DeBarge, as the light skin, as the token light skin here. L. DeBarge is in his 60s and he hasn't lost a step, and it's because, and he'll tell you, he takes care of his voice. He really takes care of it, and it's a muscle. You got to keep it. You got to keep it in shape, and he's done that. So yeah, those are the things in my brain.
Wow. Okay. Right. So now back to the holiday Yuletide cheer. Right.
Yeah.
Now last night, it was either last night or the night before. It was maybe the night before. Right. Rodney Square. By the way, in case people don't know, you go into Wilmington, we got this place called Rodney Square. Right. People think of it. Hey, well, Delaware is a small town. There's a couple 100,000 people around this area, depending on where you're at.
Are there any
So
black people in Delaware? Do you guys have black people? It's actually
watch where
mainly
you're.
predominantly black, actually, Hoss. So yeah.
They call it Garvey City for a reason.
Yeah,
So, right? So they chose to light up this Rodney Square. It's called Light Up the Square. There was beverages, there was food, there was all types of things, and there was you, sir. You, sir, singing Christmas Yuletide cheer. What was it like debuting that song there?
Well, because I'm light and I'm square, it seemed perfect. No, so no, no.
Of the barge. I just needed to know. Okay.
No. So seriously, it was I literally, and I'm not saying this to be dramatic, I could not have asked for a better circumstance in which to debut the song. It was chilly outside. It was in a major part of the city. It was my people in front of me. There was a beautiful tree. It was a beautiful vibe. It could not have been more perfect for me. So I was really, really happy with that night, and I'm really thankful that I was, allowed to be present. It meant a lot. It was a great night. Yeah.
Is that a song that now you're like, yo, I'm adding this to my sets? When this is the holiday season, we about to
Oh,
get some.
listen, the long game is to be somewhere in that Mariah Carey direction. You know what I'm saying? I don't write a lot of songs that really fit in the mainstream, but I really feel like this one specifically can fit in that space. So I'm going to be working this song. There's going to be some rearrangements of it. There's going to be a video. That's not going to happen this year, but because it's Christmas, these things always can come back around. And this song is going to be a staple of mine for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's real. Like it's real shopping in Target-ish. You feel me? It's
Hmm.
real. You waking up, kids is looking under the tree vibes. You feel
That,
me? Like
yeah, yeah,
it's a weird mix between eggnog and coquito. Like you go.
yes, yes. No, no, no. But that's the vibe. Like I understand why people have their criticism of Christmas, and they're all justified. But like you know, most people, and especially black people, we have memories of getting a little bit toasty with our family, eating really good food, laughing it up, listening to the Temptations version of the Silent Night. You know what I'm saying? To the Temptations Christmas, to the Jacksons 5 Christmas. Those are that. There's nothing more memorable than that to me. Those are beautiful memories that that's what it's about. It's about being together, listening to good music, just having fun. That's all I'm trying to recapture at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I'm not, I that's it. You know, there is a religious part to it, and that's important, which is why I said that. But that's not. It's more than that to me. I know that's kind of the real fundamental point of Christmas, but like there's so much more to it. You know, like David Ruffin singing Silent Night. What? How do you not want that in your house? You know, how do you not want yams and you know, some liquor and jokes and all of the things that we do? It's a beautiful time, and I'll never, you know, talk bad about that. Those are some of my greatest memories. You know, opening gifts under the tree, like, oh, materialism. I get it, but there's some beautiful memories that people have from Christmas, and that's okay. And I want to enhance them and keep them going. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, it's also very interesting to me that you're like, hey, you knew you wanted to change direction. You knew you were going into the holiday world. You didn't choose to make a song that sounded like mainstream music at all. Um, was that a direct decision to say, I don't want to sound like some of this stuff? And I don't even know if mainstream music can make holiday music nowadays. Like I don't know what they do, if what that world is trends towards this, but was that a conscious decision?
No, when I'm telling you, I was literally sitting on the couch and started playing with a melody in my head, and I said, I like this melody, and I'm going to run with it. That was it. I
Was
want to
it?
have a song, and I always have people like Duke Ellington and Quincy Jones in my brain. I always have this romantic vision of them writing out notes and writing out a proper melody and doing all those romantic, you know, traditional things. Like Quincy Jones gave us Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? He gave us Thriller. He gave us, you know, The Wall. Duke Ellington gave us, he's the greatest American composer ever, period. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I that's what I'm thinking about. I just want to write a beautiful melody that will make people feel good. That's it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, okay. Right now, you inspire questions. So, you work with youth. I feel like when have your class has your class heard the songs, or you have your
No, but they
youth heard
will.
it?
They will. They will. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna play it for them. Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
because I'm curious. I don't. Do you feel like they are exposed to that level of art?
Here's the beautiful thing, dude, and it's such an important question, and it's an important point. Um, every time I perform my music in front of love, and every time I perform my music in front of young people, they love it, and it's not because I'm so special. It's because music is a language, and when you speak it properly to humans, they get it. It's just like food. You don't have to explain grandmom's yams to anybody for them to appreciate it. You can eat McDonald's all your life. And as soon as grandmom gives you some greens and some yams, you're going to be like, where have you been all my life? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to like it. So if you give someone good music and you feed it to them, they love it. They're still going to like, and like I said, I'm a meathead. Like, panda, like panda, 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 panda. That's my joint. I'm not mad at that kind of
Right.
music. I'm not mad at it. I like it. Panda was my shit. But
Why?
Duke Ellington, because I just want like balance. You know what I'm saying? Have your McDonald's, but if you give them the good food, they will eat that too.
Okay. Have you? I can't. I want you featured on some McDonald's. I just want to know what it's gonna sound like one day. I need. Hey, listen. I never say this ever in my life. The Sexy Red, call J Street. I want to know. I want to
Listen,
hear J Street sing Ski. I want to hear him sing
listen,
it.
we can do the drop it low on Santa Claus song all day. How you want to do it? I'm not mad.
Drop it low on Santa. Please don't do that. Okay.
Please
Santa.
don't
Oh,
put
he
it
got a
past
bad
me.
hip.
And please don't put it past me. Please, I'm telling you. I told you from the rip. Meathead. It doesn't go away.
Santa ain't got two good hips. So what we not gonna do is
He
drop it
don't
low
need hips.
anywhere.
He's dropping it, dropping it on him. You don't understand, player. All you got to do is be still, Santa.
Oh wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh man. Okay. Now. Oh. So now you. I don't want to leave this part out. You also. You know. You you've had the Jay and Nas show probably running
Mhm.
for what, almost 2 years.
No. We about 3 years deep now.
3 years,
Mm-hmm.
3 years deep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boom, right? And that's outside of you already doing your podcast. You always like what made you always want to talk? What was your thing? Like, yeah, let me talk.
Well, yeah. So that was great question. Um, I knew, and that's I never wanted to be a touring musician, right? Because I want to be home with my family, and so that makes my opportunity to make money specifically with music smaller. But um, I've always liked having real conversations. I hate small talk more than anybody, but I love really getting to know people and having real good conversations like this. You know what I'm saying? This is enjoyable for me. I like having real conversations where you're talking about stuff in just a genuine way. And that's why I started to do my podcast. And the goal with that initially was to make that be part of, what part of my income draw. But I just because I like to have the conversations, but there was always a thing in my head where it was like, I wanted to kind of stretch it out and make it bigger, but I didn't really quite know what direction to go. And honestly, that's where Naj kind of reached out and was like, yo, we should do something together. And I was like, because I didn't know her at all at that time. And once we kind of started talking and really worked together, we realized that it's something that kind of had to be. And it was a real opportunity for me to continue to ask questions and have conversations that I want to have. And also, something that's really important to me is highlighting Delaware and bringing as much light here as possible, because we both know that there's a tremendous amount of unrecognized talent here. And I hate to see, and I understand why talent leaves. I'm not mad, I get it, but I want us to have an environment where we are building world class creatives who are able to stay here. And that's part of what that's where all that's coming from. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and I'm literally on the same wave. So I live in a space where, hey, even if you go and leave, I want this to be a place where you're guaranteed to pull back. Like,
Yep.
you gotta come
Yep.
back to home. Like,
Yeah.
this
I
ain't
mean,
even, you
yes.
can't
Yep.
question the
100%.
home return. So, all right. So now, right, as you kind of grow into this podcast and y'all kind of get y'all feel. Now she's about to go away for a couple months.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? She's about to
Hmm.
take it overseas for the
Yep.
vibes.
Yep.
What's Jay about to do? What's happening?
No. So number one, we're still going to figure out. It's going to take probably a week to figure it out. But thank God for modern technology, we'll be able to pre-record shows and still do our regular weekly show. And in the meantime, there's going to be a lot of planning. So you'll still get at least the one show a week. Number one. Number two, there's going to be a lot of planning. And number three, I mean, and Naj understands and knows. So this is not, she's going to see it. Like, we've talked about this. But I had a podcast before. Like, I was doing this already. So I'm going to be going out to I'm going to be interviewing certain people that I've wanted to, and I'll do that on my own, but have it on Naj and Jay. And there'll probably be times where she's out there, where she'll talk to certain people about what's going on out there and put that, on Naj and Jay too. So yeah, you'll still get regular shows weekly, and there'll just be a little bit of a switch in gears for the time being. But again, I am completely committed to Naj and Jay. So no one get anything confused, right? But I am perfectly capable, and I also enjoy having one-on-one conversations on my own terms. You know what I'm saying? So there's going to be some of that because I really enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, so all right. This wasn't on the list of questions that you didn't read, but this question right here.
Right.
You at some point mentioned now because you pick up the camera yourself, right? I've been on your show. So and shouts out to y'all because y'all were one of the first people who not only who showed I've been on to talk about my book, but you were also a part of my show with not when me and Najee did the live one. Me and you gotta do one. I'm very curious of the songs you would send me, but we'll talk about that because my brain is like, what would he send?
Yeah.
Anyway, you're with the cameras, with Sam, with the vision that you have, even with now you're talking about potentially living in the space of two different shows, potentially, and expanding the vibes. Is there a thought of having a studio or creating your own encompassed space to do this and having a world? creating a world, if you will.
Yeah, I would. A grand vision of mine is most certainly to have a production studio, ideally in Wilmington, but wherever is, most affordable and makes the most sense in terms of being able to acquire space, that is capable of producing high quality video, high quality, music, and just in terms of having also spaces for some of the things that I enjoy doing just casually, like as hobbies. Everything from just like a dope coffee bar to a place to train like MMA and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, God willing, there would be some kind of a Tyler Perry-esque studio here, nearby in Wilmington, where creatives can create the highest level of art, and also attract people to come here where we're perfectly located, to just continue to create wonderful art that's meaningful, and it doesn't have to always be serious. Like, I'm not, just like great art in any capacity, yeah.
Absolutely, that's dope. That's dope. Okay, now when you look at all the things that you do and kind of the art that you put together and the way that the world receives it, do you feel like you're able to stay on brand while kind of with that type of vision?
Yeah, absolutely, because here's the thing. Number one, I'm independent. I don't have anyone telling me what to do. So in the same way that I can go from Bam Bam versus the Blue to a Christmas song, I I I guess I'm half out of my mind, but I don't feel any pressure to stay in any direction. It's not me. Like, it's not me. If I was power to the people, activist, artivist, I would stay in that lane, but that's not all of me. You know what I mean? It's a piece of me. So no, I don't have any concerns. And honestly, we study artists. Like, one of the main things that people enjoy about artists is watching them grow and change. So no, I that's why I'm fiercely independent. Like, I'm gonna do what I want, when I want, how I want to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Oh man. Okay. This has been super dope. Yeah, this has been fun. So I now my next question, or I ask almost all my guests this that come on because I'm very, very curious. If you had to give advice to a younger version of you,
Yeah.
right? A young Jay, little meathead, still figuring it
I
out,
was
doesn't
bald
know
then. I
nothing.
was bald then. Yeah.
You were bald.
I had no hair.
Like you just drop shit. Like you can't just drop that randomly. It's I need to see a bald Jay. I
If you
hope
go to
you
my
got a
Facebook
picture.
profile and go to my old profile pictures, I'm bald. I have no hair, like zero. Yeah.
So is
Listen,
it just
I
facial
didn't
hair?
start growing my hair until 2018 or so, something like that. Up until then, I was bald. People called me a cop all the time.
So you didn't even have this.
No, maybe a little bit, but no, I was bald. No, none.
I can't imagine it.
I'll send you a
Wow.
picture.
Oh God,
Yeah,
that is hilarious.
yeah,
That is hilarious. I wish I would have put that on the flyer. Okay.
none. Where's my wallet? I would show you. It'd be the funniest thing, but I can't find it. So yeah.
Why'd you grow? What made you decide to be like, hey,
Great
we're gonna make it?
question. So I moved back here and I started really getting involved with all the artists, and I'm walking around. I'm like, yo, all these artists got cool hair. Everybody got dreadlocks or something, dope. And I'm like, look at me looking like a SpongeBob SquarePants with this bald head. People saying you look like like you're 5'0", you about to run up on me. Like, no, no, no. So I'm like, I'm gonna grow my hair, and I had no idea what my hair would do. I haven't had hair for I haven't had hair. So I'm like, oh well, let's see what happens. And thank the Lord it grew. And then here it is. But I was
Uh,
jealous of all the artists who had cool hair.
did you have it braided?
Huh?
Did you ever get it braided?
No, I had it braided one time, and if there's one place where I'm soft, I was like, oh, this. I was scratching. I had it for like 12 hours. I was like, oh no, no, no. That's a hard no, dog. No,
Okay.
nope.
Oh God. So what advice would you give a younger bald-headed version of Jay? But the caveat to that younger version of you is the year is still 2023. So if you take a young version of you and we make it 2023, what advice would you give that person?
It'd still be the same basic advice, which is, I don't want to go into a whole tangent, but it would have been to work harder at the things that you don't think you can do. So over the past couple of years, this is why my wife is great. Watch this. Hold on. Hopefully you can see it. Hold on. Watch that.
Yeah. Definitely Officer Street. Look at Officer! Yo! Yo, you belong on the TV show SWAT. Like, look at him! Straight on the TV show SWAT. Oh, man, that's crazy.
And the problem is this, G. I work with kids who are in the mix. So I pull up and they're like, yo, you're not gonna get me hemmed up. They literally didn't trust me. Like, nah, you look like a cop, bro. I'm not talking to you. Like, kick rocks. So
Wow, yeah. I'm glad you grew it out, bro. Because you just from some of the, not even just the kids, you're in real environments. Like, you talk to real artists. Like that artist just put the blunt out before he starts to talk to you, so he can't feel
you want to
like.
talk about being prejudged. You'd be like, dude, you are not a singer. Like, you are just here
Yeah.
to put me under arrest. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But no, sorry. Over the past couple of years, I've specifically because of COVID, I've started working on things like improving my ability to improvise on the piano. And I thought it was something that, like, it's an innate ability that you either have or don't have. And I was like, you know what? I got some time. I'm just going to keep slamming my head into the wall and see if I can find a breakthrough. And I did. And now I'm starting to open up all these different channels with my artistry that I didn't think were possible. And if I would have just kind of worked harder at that level, I'd be more advanced now and be able to be more expressive with what I do. So that's in my head right now. I'd be like, yo, just keep trying. Like, it's if you put in the work, it will come. You just gotta work a little bit harder than the kids who've been doing it since they were 7, 8, 9, 10. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that, and I always ask that question because there is a younger version of you out there in the world, and they need to know that. They need somebody needs to tell them, hey, work hard at the stuff that you don't think you're good at. You never know where you're going to take it. So that is that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Now, as I wrap this up, I'm gonna tell you something that you already know, so it's awkward, but I do a thing where I tell people if they give me a word, I give you a poem. So while you think of a word, I'm gonna tell the people, by the way, listen, look out for me. Outside of this, I got the hat tip coming where I do a review of the upcoming of the previous events that have happened. I do a G-Dash update your calendar where I put it in poem form and I recap the upcoming events. That'll be released tomorrow. So all types of things coming, and always available for bookings and hostings and all types of stuff. So holla at your boy G-Dash Jones. Spell out the dash. Now, sir, what word do you have for me? Of all people.
Mistletoe.
Mistletoe. Kiss my. Never mind. Let me not go crazy. Okay.
Go crazy, but,
No, you're a bad influence, Jay. Okay. You are okay with it. Okay. Oh, all right. All right. I can't filter in front of you because you can see it, and I like it. All right, so I'm thinking. Somebody put that up there, okay? And I know you're asking where. Truth be told, as long as it's above my hair, I'm not gonna act like I care. I just want it to be in the proper place when the person who I need to be right. See, let me back up a taste. See, I felt like I might have been in flight all night trying to figure out where I could find Miss Right, and I was like, ooh, that's her. Like, standing across the room, all of a sudden feeling like I was made to be her groom. I was like, ooh, her. And I didn't know that it would take it there till I could tell by her stare. It was almost like she peered into my soul and embraced the glare. I was like, yes, I can't believe we take it there. I'm just going to make it fair. Nobody else felt like they were in the room, even though it was full of people. I didn't care what they came through or what they came to do. Guaranteed she was for me. Somebody play Usher and Alicia Keys. I done found my boo. Speaking the truth. See, this is what this was supposed to do. Who got that pistol? Oh, I told you I need to be right above me, dude. Okay. This is when it's perfect time. You're about to make a move. Right? I'm thinking that she looking at me the whole time. I'm in my group. She starts to walk through the exit. Right? I'm thinking, oh, this is it. I look back. There it is. Oh, we about to get what this is supposed to get. She walks towards me like she's ready to embrace me just a bit. I take 2 steps back and I bump into this nigga. Hey, bro, who are you? I'm trying to figure out what's going on, bro. He said, excuse me. Take 2 steps to the side. Here comes my lady to kiss me under this mistletoe. Whoa. Oh, that's
Well done, well done.
where mistletoe goes wrong. Okay.
Well, I was about to say, I was about,
No, I know what you're about to say.
camel toe.
We are getting less festive. I feel like.
What better party is there? What? What are you saying? We're adults here. No children are watching this.
Yes, but I only do 1 word per show, sir. So I feel like keep it safe. You see, I dodged the first one, and here you come with the next one. Like you can't dodge them all.
Can't skip them all. Like, put up your Philly shell.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Anything you want to tell the people about before we get up out of here? I know you got some upcoming. What you cooking up?
The only thing I would say is go to my page tomorrow. And long story short, is the song "Warm the World" will be available tomorrow morning. I'm releasing it. It'll be on jstreet.com. It's a single. It'll be posted on Facebook. It'll be posted on IG, so you can listen to it and sample it. You can hear the whole song, and if you like it, let somebody know and buy it. And I guarantee you, I don't make too many guarantees in my music, but like I guarantee you that when you listen to it, you will feel good afterwards, for sure. All right.
Yes, I actually concur. I've never done this before, but I'm gonna do it right now. It's $2. It's $2. Listen, it's that's 200 pennies. Okay, I don't know if people keep pennies nowadays, but if you got 200 of them things, make them digital and purchase this joint. Okay, and use it for your chill. You're gonna feel good inside. It's good for you.
Thank you, good brother.
Thank you. Again, thank you for joining the show. This has been a phenomenal interview. I can't wait to do it again.
No, I had fun. I knew this was going to be fun. I knew it. Yeah.
Yes. So I appreciate you for joining, and thank you, sir. Good day, man.